reflect we're starting a minute late.
Yo, you got a phone?
It does.
Okay.
Okay, good evening. Opening up tonight's council meeting, can you please read the sunshine notice?
Pursuant to the Open Public Meetings Act, adequate notice of the 2022 meeting dates was published in the Courier News and Burnersville News on December 9th, 2021, and posted at the Municipal Complex in the Borough Library. Action may be taken.
Please stand for the flag salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Roll call. Standing up.
Council President Corliano.
Here.
Councilman Lemma.
Here.
Councilwoman Murphy.
Yes.
Councilman Sweeney.
Here.
I'm here.
And Mayor Skinner. I'm sorry.
That's it.
We just barely have a quorum.
I know.
You've been meeting early one time and everybody forgets about it.
We have one,
Any one of us can veto a expenditure.
You have one extra member that, so if one of you wants to leave, just on the corner.
Public comment section, 5 minutes per person for non-agenda items. The policy of the Borough Council with all public comments on an issue shall be limited to 5 minutes per person. Comments may be made on any non-agenda subject pertaining to borough issues. Comments pertaining to public hearings should be saved for that section of the meeting. No debating between residents. Comments should be addressed to the mayor and council at the public microphone, or do we have anybody online?
There's nobody online now.
So, any gentlemen, public?
I've got nothing.
Okay. Closing the,
We can actually address the public by name.
yeah, Tom, Andrew, Sergeant, Andrew, yeah, okay. Moving on to old business. Any old business?
Just one question, Nancy, did we get any update on the new signs that would go into the park areas for the parking on having those printed?
No, I did approve a requisition for it last week, so we're just waiting on
Okay,
them being done.
okay. It's still, the parking's still an issue there, but there's nothing posted, so we can't fault anybody for, parking there incorrectly. All right, thank you.
Any other old business? New business, any new business? Moving on to miscellaneous discussions and approvals, request to close the cul-de-sac on Pheasant Run for a block party on Saturday, October 22nd from 2 p.m. to 7 p.m. So we just need concurrence on this?
Yes, there will be a resolution.
Okay.
There is one there, but just so that you can discuss that before we got to the resolution.
I don't think it should be an issue, right? No.
Request
seems
very reasonable.
Right. Is the police department aware of that?
Maybe the chief was.
Chief.
The chief he did approve it.
It's cul-de-sac, okay. Reading and approval of minutes.
Wait,
Oh,
so Greg, one quick miscellaneous discussion. So I sent an email last minute to everybody regarding holiday tree in the park. So we have two options. The first option is to get an artificial tree. This was discussed previously, and we wanted to wait till the park was finished. Now that it is done, it's obvious that the most appropriate place for a tree would be in the center area of the park between the two paths. However, visually, from an aesthetics standpoint, a permanent tree in that area would just destroy the beautiful new grass that's finally gotten planted there. So if we did want a tree there, artificial is the way to go. The other alternative is to get a real tree, and the real tree would then go toward where the flagpole is, and we can plant it there. But I would be caution the council not to plant it in an area that would take up the limited grass that's remaining after all this park plantings have been finished. So the decision for today is, do we go with an artificial tree, and you've seen what they look like and the costs, or do we lean toward putting a permanent tree in? And I know, Jamie, you had some thoughts as to location.
Yeah, well, my first thought is that we do nothing, and this Christmas, we get a tree donated from Dower Farm. They're very open to donating trees, no longer called Dower. PEAPACK Gladstone Farm, I think, or PEAPACK Farm. Though I know the owners well, they will absolutely donate a tree, do a cut tree in the center for a year, and then see where the park is, see where it looks like once it's matured in some way, and assess whether there is an area feasibly in the mulch bed to the, if you're looking at the pond to the left of the arched walkway, see if there's an area that would hold a nice live tree, because I do feel like a live tree is, it's just nicer for a small town. So that's my suggestion.
Your thoughts?
Jamie, I appreciate what you're saying. What's kind of resonating with me is the amount of money we spent on the design of the park, and this is really kind of a change in the design of the park. And when these evergreens grow big and tall, everything underneath it is gone. It just becomes dirt. So, I mean, I didn't think I'd end up in this place, but I'd actually go with the artificial tree, just not to mess with the design of the park.
Mark?
I do hear what you're saying, and I do think we have a place that deserves a real tree, and that's at the lime kilns like we've done. We call it unofficially the council tree. I do remember looking at an artificial tree, and Nancy reminds me that it's now 4 years ago, down at the conference, and there was one at the time, which I believe is the one that Don is looking at, that looked great. It assembles in an hour. It's LED, no issues with lights. And I think that could be an appropriate stand-in to go in the center of the park in between the two curved walkways.
Mayor, do you have any thoughts?
I gotta say, like John, yeah, I figured, and I know we had, Mr. Torslater here a couple months ago saying, well, I guess he was kind of beat up by a resident, but, to put a tree in, and having had a tree there forever, but I think the park has been changed around too much, and I just think it would take up valuable real estate, which it seems the open areas of the park have shrunk, and I think as much as it would be beautiful to have a live tree and then putting lights on it every year, and I'm not an artificial tree guy, but I think that's unfortunately the way to go. Although I love the idea of waiting a year, but I just think, I don't think we're gonna have that. I mean, the park's not really gonna change much, so.
All right, and I think I said in my email I would go last. I do hear what you're saying. I do see the merits in doing it in the location that you specified is actually the best location to put it in. Having said that, though, from an aesthetic standpoint, I think it would be best if we got the artificial tree, we put it in the center of the grass area between the arc paths and take it down. So it would visually it'd be correct for the season, and then there's no remnant of it there. I like the idea of having a real tree by the lime kilns as well, so we'd have 2 trees. Nothing prohibits us after a year or two from considering, planting something if we change the architectural landscaping of the park in the future. Also, this tree's on sale right now. It's 10% off. Nancy, if I read that correctly, if we get the requisition in by the end of the month, in the body of the email you had sent, there was a
Oh, okay, I didn't see that.
yeah, so we have an opportunity this week to save quite a bit of money. So I would lean toward the artificial. There's no wrong answer here.
And do we shop around? Because it seems like that's a lot of money for us.
There are only 1 or 2 places that have these trees. And the other one that I looked at, they were looking for you to place your order for 2023.
Also, these are under state contract, Nancy, if I'm not
This one
mistaken.
is under state contract.
Let me say this to Jamie's
So
point.
this is what it looks like. I'm sorry, just clicking on this.
Page 36.
To Jamie's point, let me say one thing. I would put this thing up, I'd consider acquiring this. Put it up in between the 2 curved paths. Let's see how we deal with it. Maybe down the road, we might
This?
opt to put a live tree in the middle there and move this over to the lime kiln.
And the public might come out with pitchforks and axes and want a regular tree, so let's just do it this year. It's a lot of money, but.
It's a lot of money just to say we'll do it for this year. I definitely, I'm sorry, Mayor, I disagree with
Can you
that.
turn your computer?
Okay.
Just rather,
Like, I'm sorry, we have an artificial tree, because I do 2 trees, and my tree looks like a tree.
yeah,
It
that
has
does not,
branches. This looks like a lit up
ice cream,
triangle.
upside down ice cream cone.
I don't think
You know
this
what?
is PG. It doesn't look like this.
I thank you for showing me that, and, you've now swayed me the other way.
No, I mean, I'm okay. If you guys think artificial, I do think it will look beautiful in the center of that archway. I just don't like this tree.
So how about this as a compromise? Why don't we get a real cut tree this year, put it right in the center,
Like Jamie was saying.
like Jamie was saying, and then see how the park, like you suggested, see how the park fills in over the next year, and then next summer, let's make a point of resurfacing this and making a decision based on that. It's no outlay of money right now, other than just getting the cut tree, and we're done.
Because your typical tree does, I mean, I'm not an expert on trees, but you'll look at a tree, it doesn't go down to the ground, the boughs and everything
Well,
else.
it just looks like a cone.
Right, that's
I
what
do
I'm
think-
saying. A tree, you've got a trunk, and then you've got the, everything above it, and this just goes right to the ground, to your point.
Yeah,
So
I just
that's
think this town, it's a country town, I feel like it should look more like a tree. If we go artificial, that's fine, I just don't think this one fits with the town, this looks like a,
I mean, if you had an artificial tree in a bucket that had a trunk, that looks like it, I don't think that, I'm,
So to Nancy's point, if we have time in order for 23, when we look at this after the winter and say, maybe we do want to go the artificial route, we could look at the other manufacturers and we have the time to get it in.
Yeah.
So I hear consensus.
It also gives us time to go down to the conference and see what they have on display. We could see it in person.
All right, so I think the consensus.
good call, Jamie.
Is a cut tree for this year, placing it where it belongs in the center area, removing it right after the holiday season, and then revisiting this next spring, late spring, and making the decision what we want to do then.
I agree. Think we should look at it during the budget cycle, because if we're talking about spending that much money,
right.
we probably should have it into the budget.
I don't
So
disagree.
before,
We actually did this year. We included 5 in special projects for,
But I think let's give it,
but let's give it a try.
let's do a dress rehearsal and see what it looks like.
And I would also say, if we're going to have the cut tree, not to have a tree by the lime kiln, because two cut trees, I'm not sure, is it worth the effort to put 2 up?
I don't know, we finally have power at the lime kiln, if we can get 2 donated, there's no harm in
They're
it.
2 separate locations, yeah.
Yeah,
I think we should do the.
right, and this year we'll actually be able to have lights
It's
that people can
jollier to
see
have more
versus
than
the
one.
LEDs that you can't see.
After when we went through with that electric dawn, I want to see a tree.
Yeah.
Right,
We do a little laser
Permanently.
light show and,
right.
All right, so the consensus
Is
is.
the
to
tree
do-
gonna short out the other lights?
you could have 100 amps on that tree and we'll be in good shape.
Right.
The ironic thing is, after we spend all this money on the park, we don't have an outlet in between the 2 curved walkways for the tree. So that's gonna have to be worked out.
Yeah, it's not there, but it is along the pond, so they would just run the extension cord up there with that.
Yeah, but you gotta run it over a walkway.
Yeah, that's true.
Doing little plastic
All right,
cups.
so Nancy, you'll speak with Brad and we'll just
It's a
order it.
long extension cord.
Thank you, Jamie, for bringing it.
Yeah,
Are we also
There's
gonna have,
something.
we also
No,
gonna
I'm
have
glad
a
you
power
pulled that up.
strip there
I
with
didn't-
all
yeah.
the different,
I agree with you.
with 20 different plugs going into it?
That's why I turn it this way, yeah.
While we're on the Christmas topic, I brought this up, and it's funny because we had an environmental commission meeting last night, and someone asked about it again. I brought up at one point that the painted snowman and Santa that we have for town are scary looking. Do you remember me bringing this up? I think.
Like a clown?
No, I mean,
Clown
Santa's
scary?
eyes are like crazy eyes. So I don't know if we could use the same cutout, but I don't know if we could, make it almost like a contest for like a high school or a local artist to repaint, use the same cutout, but repaint.
I think they should both go in the trash, and if we want to get something new, we get something new. They're awful.
They're
There
awful.
are some light-up ones in that catalog.
Let's
That are-
table that for next year.
You know, why can't we get a
Scary
nice,
Santa.
a nice
It is a
plastic
scary
one?
Santa,
Scary
which
Santa.
is kind of
Like-
funny
like
for
lights
adults, but
inside.
it's scary for
It
kids.
is, it's Scary Santa.
They actually have somewhere,
Have you seen?
which I
people
actually thought
portraying
were
Santa
cute.
in
They have
recent
some where
history?
you can put
They're
them in,
scary.
and you can put your
What?
face in them and have the
Or
picture.
Santa.
face.
Oh, really?
Or
Yes.
Santa for the
Oh, the
Santa
little
Walk.
cutouts, that's
Pretty
nice.
scary recently.
Oh, I see. Oh, yeah, little cutouts.
All right,
All right, thank you.
okay, so we'll trash.
Anything else, Jamie?
What I'm hearing is the only thing.
I
we're
actually
not
do have
getting-
one more thing.
The only thing we're not getting rid of is the menorah, I guess.
We
No,
can,
because the menorah is perfectly fine.
And that was donated too.
Yeah, that's not scary at all.
Okay.
Okay, I'm on a roll. So on Saturday at the car show, I wore a sweatshirt that I bought at a garage sale from Don Bruton years ago. It was a PG sweatshirt. It just says PG on it, it's blue. I must have had 100 people be like, "Where'd you get that sweatshirt? Where'd you get that sweatshirt?" And I was talking to a couple residents, and they think that we should do something simple and have those types of things available for people to purchase. It's like almost like a fundraiser for town. But keep it. I mean, it's like I don't know. It's a Hanes sweatshirt. It's nothing fancy. So I don't know. Something to
We
think.
we all had those in the olden days.
Well, that's why I talked to some of the older people that have been here, even like you.
Thank you.
That have been here,
in
longer
town,
than I
how
have.
long? How are we?
I mean, I don't know if they can beat you.
GP, I think, no, actually, I think I beat
GP.
GP.
Anyhow,
have
they were
reversed.
like, yeah, there used to be merch, like
Yeah.
PG merch everywhere.
You wore it inside out.
That might be a good
Yeah.
project for one of the committees to do,
Yeah.
like the historical
Yes.
committee
Yeah,
or
that's a
something
big
like
problem. Maybe I'll
that.
send an email to them.
That might be a good project for them to do, because for something to come out of the
I think they
town,
did that. That was,
And
I
they
wouldn't be
can-
surprised, it's a
Yeah.
fundraiser for
You know,
them.
it could have come out of rec, Diane Becker could have done that way back
Yeah.
then.
Mine, I think it has something sport on the
Because
sleeve.
she's the only one buying shirts on, on an annual basis with that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just literally PG, and I couldn't believe how many people stopped and asked if they could purchase it. And I
we
just
bring
thought,
back
well,
this
that might
strong
be fun.
knowledge with the tree on it, then we're going even further back, so.
I think it's a good idea, but I'm not quite sure that we should be in the business.
That's fine.
Yeah.
I'll email I can
Sure.
do historic and rec and just see if either
Yeah,
group
but
is
they're gonna
interested.
need funding for it. We would have to fund it.
Well-
Wouldn't it be more I'm just asking, wouldn't it be more appropriate for Ms. Shell to bring these in and sell them out of her shop?
Well,
And let her
she
make a
does
profit?
sell, like PEAPACK and PEAPACK and then a different one, Gladstone sweatshirts, but they're quite expensive. And so I also had a couple people say that. So I don't want it to be a competition. That's why I think it'd be kind of a fun
But you-
fundraiser to do a community day.
But the sweatshirt you're talking about, it just simply had PG on it, so only people
It's-
from this area
Oh my
knew
gosh.
what it was.
Absolutely.
And that was.
And I wear it everywhere. No one ever knows. And then I come here and PJ, it's
Let's
great.
go to Prince George's County and watch that outside of DC.
Right.
She's advertising movie reading.
Right, probably,
Jake-
I wear it
Jimmy's
all the
not
time,
already,
so probably
you know
people who
this.
don't live here are like, what are you doing?
Okay, yeah, check with them, and we can
Thank
figure
you.
out. All right. Anything else for miscellaneous discussions and approvals? Moving, can I go to readings and approval of minutes?
Sure.
Thank you. Regular meeting minutes of September 13th. Do I have a motion to approve them?
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
Roll call, please.
Council President Corliano,
Yes.
Councilman Lemma,
Yes.
Councilwoman Murphy,
Yes,
Councilman Sweeney.
Aye.
Executive meeting minutes for September 13th, 2022. Motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Roll call vote.
Council President Corliano.
Yes.
Councilman Lemma,
Yes.
Councilwoman Murphy,
yes,
Councilman Sweeney.
Aye.
Moving on to resolutions. Resolution 19722, authorizing the partial closing of Pheasant Run, cul-de-sac for a neighborhood block party on the 22nd of October. I have a motion to approve resolution 197-22.
So moved.
And a second.
second,
Roll call vote.
Council President Corliano.
Yes.
Councilman Lemma,
Yes.
Councilwoman Murphy.
yes,
Councilman Sweeney.
Aye.
Resolution 19822, resolution to appoint James Keith as Department of Public Works mechanic in the amount of $52,000 a year. I have a motion to approve resolution 19822.
So moved.
Second, please.
Second.
Roll call vote.
Council President Corliano.
Yes.
Councilman Lemma,
Yes.
Councilwoman Murphy.
yes,
Councilman Sweeney.
Aye.
Resolution 19922, a resolution authorizing the mayor to sign the application authorization to submit a grant application to Department of Law and Public Safety Office of the Attorney General for automatic license plate readers, uppers. So do I have a motion to approve resolution 199-22?
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
Sarge, you just want to explain what I know what they are, but maybe nobody else
I
does.
thought you were the designated license plate reader.
I'm semi-retired, so. They're the automated license plate readers. There's two versions, two types. There's ones that go on the patrol car, and then there's stationary license plate readers. There's benefits to both. The ones on cars are for patrol, suspended drivers, individuals with warrants. I mean, it can be used for finding stolen vehicles, wanted persons, stolen license plates. Those are attached to the patrol car. Usually there's two in the front, one in the rear, and they scan license plates as the patrol car drives by. There's also fixed or stationary license plate readers. Warren Township has them, Berners Township has them. They have them as you come off the interstate. And what that does is when a stolen vehicle passes that license plate reader, it alerts the police like, hey, there's a stolen vehicle entering your town or passing through your town, which would give the police officers time or advance notice that, hey, we should start heading towards different areas of town. They could have been used just recently in Natawar. We had 2 car burglaries. We found out that the one vehicle, the suspect vehicle, was actually stolen, and the license plate affixed to the vehicle was stolen out of Flemington. If we had a license plate reader, we would have been given notice that that vehicle was entering town and could have been out there looking for it. The state is giving 10 million, I believe, dollars in grant money. 5 million is going to the state police, the other 5, or roughly there, is going to local law enforcement. My goal is to try and get 4, 2 mobile, 2 stationary. I don't know if we'll get that. If we can get 1, that would be a benefit to the borough. We can start using that. So I'm currently in the process of doing the grant narrative. I'm on page 7, single space. They're gonna hate me when they gotta read it. But that's where we're at right now, so.
How much did it cost, Tom?
I'm trying to get a quote through Motorola. There is the Vigilant system. From what I found online, they're anywhere between $10,000 and $20,000. I don't know if that's accurate, because anytime you go to their website, it's contact us for a quote. And it's the same individual that we're working with the body worn cameras.
So we'll get them in 3 years?
And it integrates with our computer system. We don't need
It will. The mayor probably would remember when we used them in town. They were borrowed from the county prosecutor's office when they first came out, and they integrated with the program we use in the car called InfoCop. And what it would do is it would run the plates through that system and alert the officer of unregistered vehicles, suspended drivers, individuals with warrants, and stolen vehicles, stolen license plates. Because what we've been finding is that a lot of the burglaries that are happening in town are people traveling in stolen vehicles or stolen license plates. And currently, we've had 12 motor vehicle burglaries at Nattawar this year, 5 last year. And all we have in the park is the park commission's trail cam is how Officer Kelly was actually able to go through the SD card and find the vehicle that actually committed the burglaries a couple days ago. So, I mean, but the trail cam is just that. It's, we get the SD card, we run through it, and it's after the fact. The license plate readers will give us, hopefully, real time, somebody's in town, and we'll be able to do something. Because I know there's been a lot of public outcry about Nattawar Park, about what the police are doing, why don't we have cameras down there? What they don't understand is if we do have cameras down there, they're stolen vehicles. So, we're not readily available to get down there in time, unless the plate readers will give us the opportunity.
Is this a reimbursement grant, so we'd have to, it's not, so we wouldn't have to worry about having it in the budget for this coming
Right, it
year?
would just be, I have to do a budget narrative or form advising the state what we're looking for, how much it's gonna cost, and if they award us, if we get an award, whatever money they give us, just like the body worn camera that the chief put in for, and we were awarded, I forget how much the money was for that, but it's gonna cover the majority of the body worn cameras. That's little to no expense to the borough.
Okay, thank you. Roll call vote?
Council President Corigliano.
Yes.
Councilman Lemma.
Yes.
Councilwoman Murphy.
Yes.
Councilman Sweeney.
Aye.
Okay, Resolution 201-22, authorizing the execution of an MOU between the Borough of PEAPACK and Gladstone Police Department, Fire Department, and First Aid and Rescue Squad, and Office of Emergency Management concerning the participation in the Rescue Task Force Program. Have a motion to approve Resolution 201-22.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Anybody have any questions on that?
Mayor, is this simply a renewal of the one from 2019?
I don't think we did one, we were going to, but we never did. We never got to it. We've had a rescue
I
task
thought when you
force.
circulated it, there was a prior one.
I don't remember us ever signing it.
I don't think we ever did.
Because there was a change in squad leadership and stuff, that's why we didn't put it, because we
There's
had
just
to put it in.
an unsigned MOU in the.
Right.
Okay.
So this is just memorializing it, and we've had a rescue task force since before, not before I was chief, but when I was chief, so 2015, 16, so we've had it for a while, we're just sort of formalizing it, so.
Thank you.
Roll call vote.
Council President Corigliano.
Yes.
Councilman Lemma.
Yes.
Councilwoman Murphy.
Yes.
Councilman Sweeney.
Aye.
Bills list, resolution 200-22, approval of bills as signed and listed in the bill payment list. Can you just read the list number?
$112,575.11.
Anything that needs to be pulled for discussion? Motion to approve resolution 200-22.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Roll call vote.
Council President Corliano,
Yes.
Councilman Lemma,
Yes.
Councilwoman Murphy,
Yes.
Councilman Sweeney.
Aye.
Moving on to council reports, finance.
Very quickly, Mayor, Nancy and I had a meeting with our CFO regarding the deficiencies that were noted in the audit. We are very satisfied that they are being handled and are addressed properly by Dale. Some of them we simply can't address just because of the size of our organization. But Dale, as you know, presented at our last meeting a letter of remediation, which we voted on, and I am good with it and what he's done.
Thank you. Sanitation and sewer.
No update other than the grant that we got from the county is still being processed. We should get the certification letter and funds shortly. When I say we, it really goes to Bedminster staff, not going to the town itself. And there was a staff meeting scheduled for this week, had to be postponed due to one of the participants having COVID. But we'll go over the capital expenditure plan and timing at that next meeting, but everything seems in good order as of right now.
Awesome. Borough property.
Yeah, so as you guys have probably noticed, there's been quite a bit of progress in the park of late. So looks like the soil and grass seeding was done properly this time, and they did bring in an outside person, they being D&K Construction, to do that seeding. So the majority of the seeding in the park is apparently properly done. We're waiting for an inspection from Carter Van Dyke. There's one section that we're not sure was done correctly or not. We'll again wait for that inspection. They started planting the plugs replacements. They were supposed to start with the replacement of the dead shrubs last week. It is postponed, from what I understand, till either tomorrow or Thursday of this week. There was a large cohort of small little items that have been mostly addressed, so excellent progress from the last night.
Great, thank you.
And they did hydro seeding instead of,
They did not have to do that, so they did the hydro seeding, which was great.
which is generally considered better.
It's better, it costs more, and it requires less watering. So, knock wood, we're in
Yeah.
much better shape.
Good, yeah. Fire and EMS.
Yeah, I mean, the updates that I would give is that the PG Fire Department had a very successful, I haven't heard the amount that they raised, but on Saturday it was well attended. It was a beautiful day for it. Over 100 cars were there. So I think it was a successful fundraiser for them. And then earlier this month, the first aid ambulance won, I think, first prize at the Boonton Fire Department parade. So both had nice events this month.
Nice.
And October 8th, we're having at the firehouse our open house.
Oh, great.
So Saturday for fire prevention week. Police.
A couple things I'm working on. Two things with jointly with the Finance Committee. One is we're having some discussions about correcting the chief's salary, getting it to the appropriate level based upon where our area and what other towns are paying. So there's going to be a recommendation forthcoming at a meeting, before we get into the full throes of the budget. The second thing is that I want to work with finance on as well is revisiting the off-duty employment ordinance and how much we're charging there. So that's a to be determined. And then the last thing is I heard from Madam Caruso that PB is okay with the form of the contract where it is now, so we'll be able to sign that. He did, however, ask if we could try and work on an addendum to that contract regarding the Kelly time, and I told him I'd raise it with the council. I'd be more than happy to sit down and try and hammer that language out so we have something that is workable, because the forfeiture really is not workable. Because that is it's earned income under the wage laws, and we can't just take it away from them. But Adam had some thoughts on how to address that, so I'm going to sit down and listen to him on it. And that's all I have.
Good. This is the Don Lemma Council Report Show. Roads and Transportation.
Yeah, Councilman Kennedy couldn't be here tonight. So I did communicate with Brad very briefly before the meeting, and the only update I have is that the paving projects in town seem to be going on schedule and rather well. The county did do the slurry seal on Main Street, and I think they're doing the restriping, and then they'll do the crosswalk repainting. And then Brad is going to arrange to, I believe, paint the crosswalks in the adjoining streets that are municipal owned, so they'll have restriping there, hopefully in the next 3 to 4 weeks.
Awesome.
Lenape, Ortem, and Jonah were resurfaced today.
Good. I have nothing for zoning, construction, legal.
Mayor, I'm working on a number of matters, but there's nothing that warrants discussion at this time.
Administrators report.
Just that Florence in construction, she's working with SDL, and hopefully by the week of October 11th, we will have the SDL portal up on the website so that the residents can check on their own permits to see where they're at. And they should be able to try and schedule inspections also through the portal.
That's big.
Awesome. Mayor's report, I have nothing. However, I do have something.
Okay, then.
Well, I mean, it's not for the report, but Nancy and I were talking today. Do we want to do a employee/volunteer Christmas party this year, or do we want to go one more year and then I won't be mayor, so then it's the next mayor's thing to figure out, or do we want to do a gift to the employees, and like we had with the blankets 2 years ago, we had the umbrellas. What do we want to do this year?
I want to do both. I want to have a modest Christmas party, where it doesn't have to be a full-fledged dinner, but it could be appetizers or something enough, and maybe we'll do a gift for our employees also.
I'd be okay with that, because you know what, in years past, the employees are not always, amped up for, they put their time in, they punch out, they want to go home. So, we do something modest during the workday, so that so we're not taking up their personal time. And, but I do like the gifts, because just like the sweatshirts that Jamie talked about, I mean, they'll all be, these are all going to be kind of novelty items for somebody's garage sale someday, and Jamie will come in and buy them.
Well, I would say though, I just am one to not have a lot of little stuff around. So if it's a sweatshirt or a shirt or something that's useful, but I do think sometimes the little blankets or the umbrellas, like we've done that. I think it should be something useful, not necessarily.
PG sweatshirt.
That's useful.
There you go.
It's very useful.
Another
I will
cell phone charger?
It's just stepping out a little bit. I understand about the branded merchandise, but how about a more tangible thing, like a $25 gift card to everybody?
Yeah.
Let them buy what they like to buy.
Right.
Not much, but they can get lunch or
I totally agree. I don't think people want blanket
Stuff.
Yeah. So I think 25 may be the cutoff where there's no implications from a.
Where we don't have to withhold. I don't know if it's an actual cutoff, but.
The gift
Looks
cards, the gifts have been given to the volunteers also, so we purchased about 100 of them. Just so that,
And how much per,
It's less than
for
the
the
Christmas
blankets?
tree.
the blankets were about $17 a piece, the umbrellas were about $13.
I'm not quite sure why, but gift cards are absolutely appropriate for our staff. I'm not quite sure they're appropriate for our volunteers. The gift card to a volunteer, I don't know about that. But
They do save our town a lot of money by volunteering, all the volunteers.
No question, but maybe an appropriate gift might be better.
Now we're getting into,
Yeah, only because a gift card is considered a monetary denomination on it. And I don't know.
Well, why don't we give some thought to what a possible gift could be other than a gift card, Nancy?
Should we refer this to the HR committee?
Amy?
Sure.
I don't know.
Everything for the HR.
I guess I could be okay with it.
I don't think a gift card's inappropriate to a volunteer.
You don't think so?
No, not at all.
I just don't know if it's gonna be out of budget then, that's the thing.
$2,500 if there are 100 volunteers, it's not.
Well, that's why I was asking what we'd spent on the blankets.
It doesn't.
Right,
It doesn't leave a lot. It doesn't leave a lot for parties. I would tell you that. Just looking at the budget.
So I kind of look at
I think we're budgeted for 5,000
Four.
for 4, okay.
I kind of look at look at the souvenir type of gift, though. We can overbuy that, so we make sure we have enough for all the people that consider themselves to be volunteers, even if we're not really sure what they did in the past year. I wouldn't want to have $25 gift cards lying around in excess.
Yeah, I agree.
To
I
Mark's
guess that's
point.
why I'm concerned about it. Because I remember how many of the umbrellas sat around forever, waiting for volunteers to
But you
pick
know
them
what?
up.
Somebody comes on as a new employee and say, and here's your complimentary umbrella.
Yeah,
With a blanket.
With blanket, with PG sweatshirt.
To Mark's point, I mean, all things being equal, I like the idea of the gift card to the employees, because it's very tangible, you can track it, and a token of our appreciation to the volunteers and some sort of a swag gift.
Swag, good word.
Although I have no objection to it being a gift card, but I just want to be sensitive to what everybody's thinking. So, either way, Amy, I'm sorry, we'll let Amy know.
Let's have a decision by the next meeting.
Amy says yes.
Do we have time for that, to get this stuff, if we get some
Yes,
swag stuff?
Yes. As long as I order or I do what needs to get done by the middle of October, we're fine.
You know what, I think we're making it
We are.
unnecessarily difficult for Nancy. Choose one thing, if we're gonna do it one thing for everybody.
Swag.
Do one thing for everybody.
Let me
I
go,
like this guy.
let me go
The
through
volunteers.
Catalog.
the catalogs, see what I can come up with. And then, I'll just send it out to everybody for,
Great, thank you, Nancy.
Okay.
Give us 3 choices with 3 different price ranges.
We'll just make a
Mayor,
decision. Don't
Mayor,
even do that.
do we just skip the gifts and go back to the party?
How about a scaled down party?
Sure. Sure.
Just like, maybe just hors d'oeuvres or whatever, just,
So we're gonna do a daytime though, so people don't have to stay? Is that what you're saying?
do you want to do it just for the employees or the employees and the volunteers? Because the volunteers will not come
They're
during the
not
day.
gonna, they won't come in the day.
Didn't we do it at 4 o'clock last time, and that was kind of a good time?
We did it from 4 to 7.
Yeah, we do that again.
but then the DPW is the ones that end up cleaning it up, and they're kind of, so it's not really a party for them.
I don't know, you and I kind of cleaned it up.
Yeah, I mean, the council people can clean it up.
Yeah, we can clean it up.
Oh,
I think
from
the
town-
HR committee can clean it up.
Yeah, HR, all in favor, okay.
All right,
Poor
so
Amy.
let's do a scale down party, but maybe like 3 to 6,
We can do
Sure.
that.
just so the employees have a little time to go.
Get them home a little.
Right. Well, I mean, so you
Not-
get off.
Not
Not
too
make
much
it too
later
late
than
at
they
night.
would.
Yeah, I don't want
If we're gonna do a scaled down party, we can also do it just here and just do appetizers.
Yeah,
And have it here in the council room instead of doing it over at the firehouse.
That's fine.
yeah.
Okay?
Yep.
I'm just saying, it's just
Yeah, no, I
make
hear
it,
I think that makes sense.
All right. Okay, I think we got that, right? Public comments, 3 minutes per per person, agenda items only, it's the policy of the public. Do you have any comments for? Okay.
Oh, nice.
I should read the spiel, but we know it,
I know it.
Yes.
Andrew Fitzgerald,
Kind of like the
Brook Street.
Miranda.
Just wanted to go back to the Christmas tree. I have a Christmas tree in our yard that used to be in our house during Christmas, and then we took it outside and planted it, and it's been there for 10 years. And you can have it if you want to come dig it up.
Oh, thank you.
I think we emailed GP about it way back when we were talking about it a few months ago. Someone wants to come look at it. I'm more than happy to take it. I have a picture, I can email it to whoever,
Oh, yeah, it's pretty.
so.
Yeah, do we want to have maybe
Putting it out there.
Brad and
Do you want it gone? Is that what you're
Yeah,
saying?
yeah, we emailed GP,
Oh, for
a
like
while
this
ago.
year's, like,
yeah, when we were talking about it
So
a few
have
months
Brad
ago.
look at it.
Yeah.
and,
Okay.
Yeah, if it's good enough, you can have it, come dig
Okay.
it up.
we'll have Brad look at it.
Yeah,
and-
put it in
And
the
you have
park.
to figure out how he's gonna, you're not gonna
What about the stump?
go into Target and get a tree stand for that tree.
yeah, do you know the caliper of the,
No.
but I mean, we had to build that tree
No,
stand.
they'll have to construct something.
Yeah, that's what we did, that,
Do it. It's too
If you wanna
Let's
complicated.
look at it.
no, I know.
Come dig it up and put it,
Look at it.
We'll look at it.
Yeah.
Great.
We probably end up leaving a stump though, is that okay?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because we don't have, there's not a stump
You
grinder.
can cut it,
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll cut it, as well
Didn't know
as
if
we
you
can.
even wanted to dig it up and put it there forever.
No, I don't think that's.
We're not looking right now this year to put something permanent in the park, just because everybody said, let's see how it looks, whatever, so, but thank you very much. Well,
I have
Brad,
this vision of the Griswold Christmas tree on top of the car with a big root ball on the bottom of it.
so Arch, do you have anything for public comments? I can individually go to people, so.
No, I do not.
Okay, is there any further business? Motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Meeting's adjourned. Next meeting will be October 11th at 7 PM here.
Happy birthday to
Mary Beth.
Mary Beth.
Thank you.
Any special plans for today?
No, because I took her out to lunch today, but she's now at a restaurant with the kids.
You can meet her there late.
That's what she just